time is 7:42 p.m. Good evening. The news headline: Expose terrorism sponsors. If your hands are clean. PDP DS Buhari, APC. The People's Democratic Party (PDP) Tuesday said that the refusal by the Buhari presidency to expose sponsors of terrorism in Nigeria vindicates its position that the All Progressive Congress (APC) government has been providing official cover for terrorists and bandits pillaging the nation. The party was reacting to a comment credited to Femi Adesina, Senior Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, where he said that the presidency is not interested in naming and shaming terrorism sponsors whose names were allegedly sent to the federal government by the government of the United Arab Emirates. In a statement signed by its spokesman, Kola Ologbondiyan, the PDP held that the decision of the APC-led government to cover the identity of sponsors of mindless mass killings, maiming, raping, kidnapping of our compatriots, as well as the endless violent marauding of our communities under the APC watch, validates our stand that such individuals have connections with the APC. The statement further read, "This unpatriotic stance by the Buhari presidency raises serious national anxieties of high-level complicity in the administration and further explains the reported compromising of our security system in the escalated killings and acts of terrorism in our country just in the last 6 years under the APC. Nigerians can see why the APC-led administration has failed to take decisive steps to tackle terrorism, why it prefers to negotiate with terrorists and even make case for them instead of apprehending and prosecuting them, as witnessed in the beheading of rice farmers in Borno State." The PDP had always alerted of a connection between the APC and terrorists ravaging various parts of our nation, and how the APC as a party had always failed to forcefully condemn acts of terrorism in our country. APC has failed to account for the bandits, thugs and hoodlums it imported from neighboring countries to unleash violence on Nigerians and muzzle the 2019 elections. If the APC and its administrations have nothing to cover, our party challenges them to publish the names of the sponsors of terrorism given to it by the UAE, United Arab Emirates, instead of this vexatious desperation to provide official cover for them. And this is the analysis that the PDP has now dared the APC and also the administration of the Buhari regime, saying that they need to expose terrorism sponsors in Nigeria if their hands are clean. We have had a sequel to a time where the ambassador from the United States have actually said that they are working hand in hand with Nigeria government to ensure that they expose every sponsors of terrorism in the country. And there was a time whereby the United States actually pledged allegiance to help in exposing anyone sponsoring terrorism in Nigeria, and there were questions around it that if peradventure the identities of the sponsors of terrorism in Nigeria was exposed, would the Buhari government and the APC-led government allow their names to be exposed and allow these people to be prosecuted at the end of the day? And it seems that it is actually coming to play, as the People's Democratic Party, the PDP, on Tuesday said that the refusal by the Buhari presidency to expose those that are sponsoring terrorism in Nigeria has actually vindicated the position that the All Progressive Congress APC government have been providing official cover for terrorists and bandits pillaging the nation, and if not through, they should have exposed those sponsoring terrorism in the country. The PDP was reacting to a comment to Femi Adesina, who happens to be the Senior Special Advisor to President Muhammadu Buhari on Media and Publicity, where Femi Adesina had earlier said that the presidency is not interested in naming and shaming terrorism sponsors whose names were allegedly sent to the federal government by the government of the United Arab Emirates. The United Arab Emirates had actually been said to have sent some names of those sponsoring terrorism in Nigeria to the presidency, and Femi Adesina had been quoted to reply that the presidency was not interested in naming and shaming those sponsoring terrorism as being sent by the United Arab Emirates government. In a statement signed by the PDP spokesperson Kola Ologbondiyan, the decision of the APC-led government to cover the identity of sponsors of mindless mass killings, maiming, raping, kidnapping of our compatriots, as well as the endless violence going on in different communities under the APC watch in Nigeria, has also validated our stand that such individuals have connections with the APC. Kola Ologbondiyan has actually said that the unpatriotic stance by the Buhari presidency raises serious national anxieties and high level of complicity in the administration, and further explains that the APC members are actually the ones sponsoring crimes of mass killings, maiming, kidnapping, and all those kinds of vehement violence going around in the country. And that was why the APC-led government has decided to cover the identity of the sponsors, because if it was to be that the sponsors of this terrorism in the country was from another party entirely, they would have found a reason to paste their name around and to prosecute them. Therefore, the Ologbondiyan has also said that this explains that the reported compromising of our security system in the escalated killings and acts of terrorism in our country in the last 6 years under the APC. Therefore, Nigerians can see why the APC-led government has failed to take decisive steps to tackle terrorism, and why it prefers to negotiate with terrorists and even make case for them instead of apprehending and prosecuting them, as witnessed in the beheading of rice farmers in Borno State. And the PDP had always alerted of a connection between the APC and terrorists ravaging various parts of the nation, and now the APC had failed to account for the bandits, the thugs and hoodlums that it imported from the neighboring countries to unleash violence on Nigerians after the 2019 elections. Now, this is a challenge that if